Good day, senior high school students, and welcome back. I am your online math tutor, Ma'am Karin. I am so glad that you are here to join us in the next lesson for general mathematics. In this video, we will be talking about on how to solve rational inequalities. There are 5 steps to solve rational inequality. Step 1. Rewrite the inequality as a single rational expression on one side of the inequality symbol and 0 on the other side. Step 2. Find the critical numbers. Critical numbers are the values of x which make the numerator and denominator equal to 0. Step 3. Partition the x-axis into intervals based on the critical numbers. Step 4. Pick a test point in each interval, evaluate the numerator and the denominator, and perform a sign analysis. Step 5. Write the solution set. Let's have example number 1. Solve the rational inequality x minus 1 all over x plus 4 less than 0. In this example, we're going to perform the 5 steps. And let's start with step number 1. We're going to rewrite the inequality as single rational expression on one side of the inequality symbol and 0 on the other side. Ibig sabihin, given the rational inequality, you're going to make the left side of the inequality a single term, and the right side as a requirement equal to 0. Since in the given, we already have a single term on the left side and 0 on the right side, so we're done with step number 1. For step number 2, we're going to find the critical numbers. In finding the critical numbers, all you have to do is to focus on the left side of the inequality. You're going to get the numerator. We have here x minus 1 and equate that to 0 for us to get the critical number, or in short, the value of x in the numerator. In the numerator, we have x minus 1 and equate that to 0. The value of x here, we're going to transpose negative 1 to the right side, and that is positive 1. X is equal to 1. This is the first critical number. In the denominator, we have x plus 4. Equate that to 0 and find the critical number in the denominator by transposing positive 4 to the right side. So that will become x equals negative 4. The critical numbers are negative 4 and positive 1. Before we proceed to step number 3, let us first recall on how to graph the given intervals. We have here open parenthesis A, comma, B closed parenthesis. This is a symbol that represents a set that includes all the numbers between A and B. To graph in the number line, we have here an open circle. Open circle represents that A and B are not included in the set, only the numbers between them. As you can see, yung mga numbers between A and B are shaded in the graph. In the second interval, we have open bracket A, comma, B closed bracket. To graph that, since na ang ginamit natin ay bracket, we're going to use a closed circle or shaded dot in the number line. Meaning nito, this is a set that includes all the numbers from A to B. So yung A and B ay kasali na sa set and all the numbers between them. Sa number line, shaded din yung numbers from A to B. Sa third interval, we have here open bracket A, comma, B, close parenthesis. Dito sa number line, ang ginamit natin, since na bracket ang katabi ng A, ang gagamitin natin ay shaded circle, meaning yung A ay kasama sa set, at lahat ng mga numbers in between A and B. Kung mapapansin ninyo, yung katabi ng letter B ay parenthesis, kaya ang ginamit natin ay open circle. Meaning, yung B ay hindi kasama sa set na ito. Sa fourth interval, we have open parenthesis A, comma, B, closed bracket. Sa graph, ang nasa number line ay, ang katabi ng A ay parenthesis, so ang gagamitin natin dito, sa tapat ng A ay open circle, at shaded yung mga numbers between A and B. Ang katabi ng B ay closed bracket. Ibig sabihin, gagamit tayo ng shaded circle na ang meaning nito ay kasali ang B sa set na ito. Next, we have here open parenthesis A to positive infinity. Lahat ng mga numbers from A to positive infinity ay kasama sa set na ito. But take note, katabi ng A ay parenthesis, so open circle. Ito. Meaning, yung number A or yung A ay hindi kasama sa set. Sa next interval, we have open bracket A, comma, positive infinity, parenthesis. Meaning, katabi ng A ay bracket, kasama ang A sa set, and from A to positive infinity, yan yung mga numbers na kasama sa set. Next, we have open parenthesis, negative infinity, to B, closed parenthesis. So from negative infinity, from left hanggang B, yan yung shaded part ng number line. At yung katabi ng B is parenthesis, meaning ang gagamitin natin ay open circle, meaning yung B ay hindi kasama sa set na ito. And last, we have parenthesis, negative infinity, to B, closed parenthesis. From negative infinity to B, kung mapapansin ninyo, ang B katabi ay bracket, so this is a shaded circle, meaning ang B ay kasama sa set na ito. Sa pag-graph ng mga critical numbers sa number line, ang kailangan mong tandaan na kapag ang mga sign na less than o greater than ang lumabas sa given rational inequality, ibig sabihin, ang mga critical numbers ay hindi included sa solution set. So, gagamit ka sa number line ng open circle. Kapag ang mga symbol naman na nandun sa rational inequality ay less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, ibig sabihin ang mga critical numbers ay included sa set. So, gagamit ka sa pag-graph sa number line ng shaded circle. Step number 3. Partition the x-axis into intervals based on the critical numbers. Sa pag-graph ng critical numbers sa number line, we have here negative 4 and positive 1 na nakuha natin sa step number 2. Nilagay ko din yung mga numbers in between the critical numbers. So ngayon, paano natin malalaman kung ano ba yung gagamitin natin sa tapat ng negative 4 at positive 1. Kung ito ba ay lalagay natin sa number line ng open circle or shaded circle. Since na ang given sa rational inequality, ang symbol na nandito ay less than, so ang gagamitin natin ay open circle. Ibig sabihin, yung negative 4 at positive 1 ay hindi included sa magiging posibleng solution set. From the negative infinity hanggang sa negative 4, Ang magiging interval natin ay negative infinity. Laging tatandaan kapag katabi ay infinity, palagi siyang parenthesis. So that is from negative infinity to negative 4. Take note na open circle ang ginamit natin. So ang gagamitin natin sa pagsulat ng interval ay parenthesis. Next interval is from negative 4 dito hanggang positive 1, yung isang critical number natin. Since na ang ginamit sa tapat ng negative 4 ay open circle at sa positive 1, so ang kailangan natin ilagay ay parenthesis, open parenthesis and closed parenthesis. Meaning, yung mga numbers between negative 4 and 1, yun yung mga pwedeng maging solution set, kasama sa magiging solution set. From positive 1 naman hanggang positive infinity yung ikatlong interval. Take note na yung 1, ang nasa taas niya ay open circle, so ang gagamitin natin ay parenthesis. At yung katabi ng infinity, palaging parenthesis. So meron tatlong interval tayong nakita dito sa number line. So we have here the first part from negative infinity hanggang negative 4. Second part from negative 4 hanggang positive 1. A third part from 1 to positive infinity. Take note that is an open circle because we have used in the rational inequality a less than symbol. Next, the intervals are this. Step number 4. Pick a test number in each interval and construct a table of signs. So, lagi nating tatandaan sa table of signs, ilalagay na natin yung interval na nakuha natin sa step number 3. Nandito yun sa first row. We have here from negative infinity to negative 4, we have parenthesis here. From negative 4 to positive 1, parenthesis, and from 1 to positive infinity. Next, test number sa second row. Saan ba natin pwedeng makuha yung test number? When we say test number or test points, ito yung mga numbers na in between sa interval. Say for example, we have here in the first interval, yung pwedeng maging numero na manggagaling dito sa interval ay negative 5. Take note, negative 5 is between negative infinity to negative 4. Isa siya sa mga number dito sa set na ito or sa interval na ito. Ano pa? It can be also negative 6. It can be also negative 100 as long as that number is inside this interval. So we can have here negative 5. Next, from this interval, we can pick 0. Pwede din isulat mo dito as your test number dito sa interval na to. You can have negative 3. Diba yung negative 3 nandito pa sa interval na to. Negative 2, negative 1 can be a test number. Okay. You can have here negative 0.5. Nandito pa din siya sa interval na to. And last, test number, we can have here in this interval positive 2. We can have here 3, 4, 5, or even 100, as long as that number is inside this interval. Now, under test number, we have this x minus 1. X minus 1 is from the numerator. X plus 4 galing sa denominator. And ito namang x minus 1 all over x plus 4, ito na yung mismong left side ng rational inequality na given. So, itetest na natin kung yung mga numero bang ito, ano ba yung mga signs na makukuha natin given this term from the numerator and denominator. Let us first solve for x minus 1 given that x is equal to negative 5. So, just substitute. From here, yung value daw ng x on the first interval is negative 5. So, negative 5 minus 1, that is negative 6. So, ano yung sign ng 6? That is negative. So, we have to take note this sign. Kasi later, we're going to use this on how to determine the solution set. Next, a number from the second interval that is 0, 0 will be substituted to this term that is 0 as the value of x minus 1 that is equal to negative 1. What is the sign of the answer? That is negative. Next, the third number inside this interval is 2. So just substitute 2 minus 1 is positive 1. The sign of 1 is positive. So we have to take note of this. Next, in the given term, we have x plus 4. Just substitute the given value of x in the first interval, that is negative 5. So negative 5 plus 4, that is negative 1. Take note of the sign. 0 plus 4, that is positive 4. Take note of the sign. 2 plus 4, that is 6. Take note of the sign, that is positive. And then next, that we're going to get the quotient of this. Since na itong x minus 1, meron ka ng sign dito sa third row, at yung sign naman for x plus 4 ay nasa fourth row na. So all you have to do is to take note these two signs. So negative, ang operation dito ay division. So negative divided by negative is positive. This is now the sign. Next, negative divided by positive, that is negative. Positive divided by positive, that is positive. So the sign na nakuha natin are, in the first interval, if you're going to use this interval, all the numbers in this interval, kapag sinubstitute sa given na rational inequality, ang lalabas ay mga positive numbers. Kapag ito namang mga numbers inside this interval, kapag sinubstitute dito sa rational inequality, ang lalabas na sagot sa left side ng inequality ay negative. Next, kapag ito namang lahat ng numbers na to, sa interval na to, kapag sinubstitute dito sa left side ng inequality, ang lalabas ay positive numbers. Okay, now, how to determine the solution set? We're going to analyze the given rational inequality. Ano ba yung mga numbers na less than 0? Is it a negative number or a positive number? Yung mga numbers na less than 0 ay mga negative numbers. So pipili tayo dito sa tatlong sign na nakuhaan natin. Alin ba dito sa tatlo yung negative? Kasi sabi dito, sa given na rational inequality, ano ba yung mga numbers na less than 0? Yan yung mga negative numbers. So, ibig sabihin, etong second interval ang pwedeng makapag-satisfy dito sa given na inequality. Kasi, kung isa-substitute natin yung lahat ng mga numbers inside this interval, those are less than 0. And that is a negative number. So, ibig sabihin, ang magiging solution set natin ay negative 4, 1. Take note, open parenthesis and close parenthesis. Ibig sabihin, negative 4 and positive 1 are not included in the solution set. So, kung i-graph na natin siya as to writing the solution set, as we write the solution set, so, magiging, we have to take note the interval, and ang check, yung magiging solution set niya lang ay ang interval na negative 4, 1, or mga numbers in between negative 4 and 1. So to graph that, we have to shade all the numbers between negative 4 and 1. Therefore, the solution set is open negative 4 to open 1. Negative 4 and 1 are not included in the solution set. All the numbers between them. Let's have example number 2. Solve the rational inequality 4 over x plus 2 greater than or equal to 2. Step 1. We're going to make the left side of the inequality a single term and the right side of the inequality 0. So ang tanong, 0 na ba yung nasa right side ng inequality? No. We have to transpose positive 2 to the left side. So that will be 4 over x plus 2 minus 2 greater than or equal to 0. So ngayon, 0 na yung right side ng inequality. But then, how to get the critical number kung meron ka pang whole number na 2 sa katabi nitong first term? Dapat maging isang term lang yung nasa left side ng inequality. So, all we have to do is to get the least common denominator or the LCD. Since na ang denominator ng first term ay x plus 2 at ang denominator naman ng 2 ay positive 1, so obviously ang gagamitin natin na LCD or denominator ay x plus 2. Since na whole number naman yung kasama ng first term. So that will be x plus 2, yung sa first term, just copy the numerator kasi x plus 2 naman na yung denominator ng 4. So just copy 4 in the numerator. Minus, that's the sign from here, 2 times x plus 2. So, since na ang denominator ng 2 ay 1, x plus 2 divided by 1, that is x plus 2, then x plus 2 will be multiplied to 2. So, yun, nilagay na natin yung x plus 2 dito. Greater than or equal to 0. So this is now the resulting inequality. We have to simplify the numerator. Now we have 4. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times positive 2 is negative 4. All over, just copy the denominator x plus 2 and then the symbol and then the right side of the inequality which is 0. We can now cancel 4 and negative 4 since na 4 minus 4 is 0. So, ang matitira na lang is negative 2x all over x plus 2 greater than or equal to 0. So, eto na yung magiging bagong inequality muna. From here, we can now proceed to step number 2. Find the critical numbers. From here, kukunin natin yung nasa numerator para malaman natin yung critical number, first critical number. That is negative 2x. Negative 2x equals 0. Equate that to 0. Divide both sides by negative 2x. Negative 2x, that is negative 2x. So, x is equal to 0. That is the first critical number, x is equal to 0. Next, we have in the denominator, x plus 2. Equate that to 0. Value of x here is negative 2. This is the second critical number. So, meron tayong dalawang critical number. These are negative 2 and 0. Step number 3. Partition the x-axis into intervals based on the critical numbers. Again, we have here a number line for us to graph yung mga critical numbers from step number 2. So, paano natin i-graph yung mga critical numbers sa number line? Take note that in the inequality given, we have the symbol greater than or equal to. Sinabi natin kanina na kapag ito yung symbol, ang gagamitin natin ay shaded circle. So, sa tapat ng negative 2 and 0, we can have here shaded circle. Pag sinabing shaded circle sa tapat ng dalawang number na to, ibig sabihin, etong dalawang number na to ay magiging kasali na or posibleng maging kasali sa solution set. But then, if we're going to analyze that in the denominator, we have here x plus 2. At kapag sinubstitute mo yung negative 2 dito sa variable x, magiging ng undefined yung left side. So, kahit pa yung symbol ay greater than or equal to, hindi natin pwedeng itapat yung shaded circle sa negative 2 because ang meaning na nun is negative 2 ay posibleng maging kasali sa solution set. Eh hindi siya pwede. Sure na tayo dito na hindi kasali si negative 2 sa solution set because that will make the left side of the inequality undefined. So ang ilalagay natin instead of shaded circle, ang ilalagay na natin ay open circle. At yung 0 wala namang problema, so we're going to use a shaded circle sa tapat ng 0. So here, magkakaroon tayo ng tatlong parts sa given na number line. This is from negative infinity hanggang negative 2. Yan yung first part. From negative 2 to 0, yan yung second part. At from 0 to positive infinity, yan yung magiging third part mo. So from there, we can have here negative infinity, always katabi ng infinity ang parenthesis, comma, negative 2. Since ginamit natin sa taas ng negative 2 ay open circle, so gagamit tayo ng parenthesis. From negative 2, katabi ng negative 2, parenthesis kasi open circle, to 0. 0, shaded circle, so we're going to use a bracket. Bracket here because 0 is included in the solution set, can be included in the solution set, and from 0 to positive infinity. Take note, ang katabi ng 0 ay bracket. So ito yung magiging intervals mo. We have here negative infinity to negative 2. Negative 2 to 0. 0 is, can be included in the solution set. And then 0 to positive infinity. In step number 4, we're going to pick a test number in each interval and construct a table of signs. In the table of signs, we have the given intervals na nakuha natin dun sa step number 3. That is negative infinity to negative 2, negative 2 to 0, and 0 to positive infinity. For the test numbers, pwede natin gamitin ang negative 3 inside the first interval. We may use also negative 4 if we want, as long as that number is inside the interval. Next, we can use negative 1 because negative 1 is inside this interval. We can use also negative 0.5, negative 0.75, negative 1.5. And another test number inside this interval, we have positive 1. We may use 5, positive 10, 50, as long as that number is inside this interval. Next, on this side, we're going to take note yung nasa left side ng inequality na nakuhaan natin dito sa given na rational inequality. Ito yung mga expression na nasa left side ng inequality, dun na nakuha natin sa first step. So that is negative 2x. Itong x, papalitan na natin ng negative 3 para makuha natin yung signs dito. So negative 3 times negative 2 is positive 6. Yung sign ng 6 ay positive. Next, the next test number or test point is negative 1. That will be substituted to negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2. This is positive 2, not positive 1. So yung sign ng positive 2 ay positive. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. This is negative 2, not negative 1. So yung sign ng 1 is negative. Next, we have negative 3 plus 2. That is negative 1. Yung sign ng 1 ay negative. Negative 1 plus 2, that is positive 1. Yung sign ng 1 ay positive. At 1 plus 2 is positive 3. Ang sign ng 3 ay positive. Now, let's take note that itong sign dito ay positive and then dito ay negative. I-divide na natin siya since here we have negative 2x and divided by x plus 2. Para mas madali, hindi ka na mag-substitute dito, ito na lang signs ang i-divide mo. So that would be positive divided by negative. That is negative. This is the resulting sign. Here, positive divided by positive, that is positive. The negative divided by positive is negative. Ang mga resulting signs natin ay negative, positive, and then negative. Now, if we want to determine the solution set, we'll be going back to the given rational inequality. Dun sa bago nating rational inequality, that is negative 2x all over x plus 2 greater than or equal to 0. So we have to take note yung sign na greater than or equal to 0. Greater than or equal to 0. Ang babalikan na natin yung bago ng inequality. Ano yung mga numbers na greater than or equal to 0? Is that negative number, positive number? Ano yung mga number na greater than or equal to 0? Those are positive numbers. So we are going to decide na ito yung solution set. This interval is the solution set. Okay? This is wrong because negative numbers yung lumabas, negative. For step number 5, we're going to determine or graph, so shade na natin yung solution set. Given the result na nakuha natin sa step number 4, yung shaded part na ng number line is between negative 2 to 0. 0 is included. Pero ang 0 ay kasama sa solution set, but not negative 2. The solution set is open, negative 2, close 0. So, 0 ay kasama sa solution set. Example number 3. Solve the rational inequality x plus 3 all over x squared minus 5x plus 4 less than or equal to 0. For step number 1, we're going to make the left side a single term and right side of the inequality 0. So, since na sa given, one term na lang naman yung nasa left side, isang term lang, at 0 na din yung nasa right side. So, we're done with step number 1. Step number 2, we're going to find the critical numbers. In the numerator, we have x plus 3 equals 0. So, always equate that to 0. The value of x here is negative 3. In the denominator, we have the given x squared minus 5x plus 4 equals 0. The factors of this quadratic equation are x minus 4 and then x minus 1. Equate that to 0. In the first factor, that is x minus 4 equals 0. Equate that to 0 para malaman natin yung ikalawang critical number. At yung third critical number, we have x minus 1, equate that to 0. The value of x in the second critical number is 4, and then in the third, we have positive 1. The critical numbers are negative 3, we have 1, and positive 4. For step number 3, we're going to graph given the critical numbers in the number line. Ang ginamit dito sa rational inequality ay less than or equal to symbol. So kapag ito yung symbol mo, gagamit tayo ng shaded circle. Shaded circle dun sa tapat ng mga critical numbers. But take note that ano ba yung numbers na makakapagpa-undefined dito sa denominator natin? Yung sa denominator, the factors of this are x minus 4 and then the quantity x minus 1. So from the critical numbers, yung mga number na yon ay 1 and 4. So kapag sinubstitute mo yung 1 dito sa denominator at sa x ng numerator, this will become undefined. So bawal maging solution set ang 1. Ang 4 naman, kapag sinubstitute mo din dun sa lahat ng x sa given a rational inequality, that would become undefined. So, bawal maging parte ng solution set ang 1 and 4. Ang negative 3 okay lang naman. Pwede itong negative 3 maging solution set. So since na ang given symbol ay less than or equal to, so ang gagamitin natin sa negative 3 ay shaded circle. So merong apat na parts or na nahati yung number line. We have 1, the second part, third, and fourth. Ano-ano yung mga critical numbers na pwede natin or intervals na pwede nating ma-identify? So from the left side or from negative infinity, we have negative infinity to negative 3. Negative 3 is included. From negative 3 to positive 1. 1 is not included. 1 to 4. 4 is not included. And 4 to positive infinity. Therefore, those are the critical numbers. For step number 4, in the table of signs, take note natin yung mga intervals na nakuha natin from step number 3. And we're going to identify test points in each interval. So from the first interval, ang pwede natin kunin na test point ay negative 4. So here, pwede natin gumamit tayo ng negative 5, negative 6, as long as that number is inside this interval. And then we can use also the test point 0 in this interval because 0 is inside this interval. We can use negative 2, negative 1, or even the decimal in between these numbers. We have 2 here as the test point. You may use 3 as your test point. And then in this interval, we can use 5, 6, 7, or even 100 if you want. In here, in this side, we have x plus 3. That is from the numerator. And then x minus 4 multiplied to x minus 1. Those are the factors of the denominator. And then the left side of the inequality. We're going to take note the signs after substituting the given test points to this given. So negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1. Ano yung sign ng 1? That is negative. 0 plus 3, that is positive 3. So positive. 2 plus 3 is positive 5. So positive 5 here. Or positive sign. 5 plus 3 is positive 8. So positive sign ang ilalagay natin dito. Next, we have negative 4 minus 4. That is negative 8. So negative. Negative 4 minus 1, that is negative. Negative times negative because we have to follow the format here. So multiplication yan. Negative times negative, positive. Negative times negative, positive because 0 minus 4, negative. 0 minus 1, that is negative. 2 minus 4, that is negative. 2 minus 1, that is positive. Negative times positive, that is negative. 5 minus 4, that is positive. 5 minus 1 is positive. Positive times positive is positive. And then, para naman dito, i-divide lang natin yung nakuha nating signs dito sa row na ito and sa second row na ito. Negative divided by positive. We're going to just follow the format. Negative divided by positive is negative. Positive divided by positive is positive. Positive divided by negative is negative. Positive divided by positive is positive. Now, paano natin ma-determine yung solution set? All we have to do is to go back to the given rational inequality. Ano yung mga numbers na less than or equal to 0? Is that negative number or positive number? Ano yung less than or mas mababa sa 0? Those are negative numbers. So, negative. So, tingnan natin yung resulting signs na negative. Ito yung negative and then negative din yung result dito. So, there are two intervals na na-identify natin as our solution. We have the first interval and then the third interval. Ito take note natin yung interval sa number line natin. So yung na-check natin or nakuha natin na solution set, we have the first and the third. So, ha-highlightan natin yung number line. Ibig sabihin, yung highlighted na yellow part sa number line, yun yung solution set ng given rational inequality. So, ito yung shaded part ng number line dito sa interval na to at nasa ikatlong interval. Therefore, the solution set is the union, ibig sabihin nito union, lahat ng mga numbers given the interval. The union of the intervals, negative infinity to negative 3. Negative 3 is included in the solution set, and interval 1 to 4, in between 1 and 4. Ang 1 saka 4, hindi sila included sa solution set. Let's proceed to the pretest part. There are 5 items. In number 1, what is the solution set of the rational inequality x minus 1 all over x plus 4 greater than 0? We're going to inspect the given options in number 1. In number 1, all we have to do is to check the inequality symbol in the given inequality and also the critical numbers. Since na ang ginamit na inequality symbol ay greater than sign, so ibig sabihin lahat ay dapat naka-parenthesis. Wala dapat dyan bracket. So for the critical numbers, we have to take note the numerator, that is x minus 1, equate that to 0, and the denominator is x plus 4, equate that to 0. Then find the value of x. Here we have 1, and the second we have negative 4. So ang critical numbers ay negative 4 and 1. Mas mababa yung negative 4 kaysa sa 1. So dapat from negative infinity to negative 4 bracket, that is the first interval from negative infinity to negative 4. Hanapin natin. A and B, cross na siya kasi hindi naman negative yung 4. Pipili na lang tayo sa C saka D. Sa C, nagsimula siya sa positive infinity. Mali yung format na nito. So ang sagot ay letter D. Ang letter D from negative infinity to negative 4, that's correct. And then 1 to positive infinity. Number 2, for what values of x will make the rational inequality x plus 1 all over x plus 5 less than 0 true? So ang given na symbol dito ay less than. So ibig sabihin, aalisin na natin sa options natin yung mga naka-bracket sa options. Ang B and D, naka-bracket na siya. So mali na yung B and D. So we're going to choose from A and C. Ang critical numbers na pwede nating makuha, x plus 1, equate that to 0. Value of x is negative 1. And x plus 5, equate that to 0. We have here x equals negative 5. So, ang critical numbers natin ay negative 5 and negative 1. Ang A, hindi naka-negative ang 5 and 1. So, letter C is the correct answer. Number 3, which of the following is not a solution of the rational inequality x minus 5 all over x plus 3 minus 2 greater than or equal to 0? Not a solution. So, ang pwede mo ditong gawin ay i-substitute mo na lang yung mga given na options dun sa given inequality para mas madali. So, yung una, x equals 0, substitute that to the given. Negative 11 over 3 greater than or equal to 0. Is that correct? Wrong. A negative number is less than 0. Less than or equal is less than 0. So, that's wrong. Next, B, negative 4. C, negative 7, negative 10. So, all of those are correct. So, ibig sabihin, our final answer in number 3 is letter A. Number 4, what is the solution set of the given rational inequality x minus 5 all over x plus 7 minus 4 less than or equal to 4? So, from here, dapat nating gawing single term ang left side ng equation or inequality, sorry, inequality, single term. So we're going to find the LCD since na ang second term ay whole number which is 4 or an integer which is 4. Ang denominator niya ay 1. Ibig sabihin ng LCD ng x plus 7 and 1 ay x plus 7. Since na ang denominator ng first term ay x plus 7, we're just going to copy the numerator. We have here x minus 5. And then minus yung 4, ilalagay na natin dito na lang. And then multiply that to the LCD. Less than or equal to 0. Simplify the numerator. That would be negative 3x minus 33 all over x plus 7 less than or equal to 0. Get the critical numbers. We have here x equals negative 11 and x equals negative 7. Hanapin natin yung may negative 11 and negative 7 para hindi na tayo magtuloy-tuloy dun sa last step or sa mga steps. Sa letter A, since na ang ginamit ay less than or equal to, so gagamit tayo ng bracket. And take note, yung nasa denominator ay 7. X plus 7. Bawal na maging value ng x ang negative 7. So, dapat ang katabi ng negative 7 ay parenthesis. So, ang sagot dito ay, it's letter A. Number 5. Find the solution set of the rational inequality. So, first, we're going to get the factors of the denominator kasi yung pinakamataas na exponent niya ay 2. So, we can get the factors of that. That is x plus 2 times the quantity x plus 1. These are the critical numbers. Numerator, x plus 3, x equals negative 3, x plus 2, x equals negative 2, and then x plus 1 equals 0, x is equal to negative 1. So, from here, since na ang given na symbol ay greater than, so ibig sabihin lahat ay dapat naka-bracket, yung naka-parenthesis. Yung naka-bracket, alisin na natin sa option C and D, may bracket. So, alisin na natin siya. And letter B. Final answer, it's letter A.